Get this going.
Okay. Well, hello and welcome again to another edition of the Osteopathic Lyceum podcast. We've got Julia and Grotto here. I did say it right.
Yeah.
Like really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You did.
Okay. I didn't screw it up too bad.
No.
We're going to be talking about a project that we've started. We're not finished, and we're going to do more like this over time. So one of the phrases in osteopathy, this is the first place I wanted to look, and as this all evolves, other people will start their own projects their own way, and will go looking for information. So find it, fix it, leave it alone is a statement in osteopathy that seems to have some value. I've heard it a lot.
Yes, I've heard it a lot.
You heard it a lot before me.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure that it's like, yeah, I've heard it a lot because you say it all the goddamn time. So it's at least common enough that two people have heard it a fair amount, independent of one another. And I wanted to look because I'd heard that Dr. Still never wrote it down, but it's something he's quoted as saying. So what we did is we went to the Museum of Osteopathic History. They've got a page with a bunch of books and a large amount of journals. So the books you can find other places sometimes, but the journals you can't really find any other places because they have them on site and they've scanned them and uploaded them as searchable PDFs. So we searched for Find It, Fix It, Leave It Alone and came up with some stuff. So how annoying was it to start that?
And pretty annoying. There was just so much material.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, it's a lot of information, and a lot of the documents didn't have it in there at all. So you're looking through for nothing. Yeah.
The Journal of Osteopathy, they go from what, like 1898 to 1921-ish?
21 or 22.
Yeah, 21 or 22.
Yeah.
So, and there was a gap. I can't remember where the gap was. It was somewhere in early World War I time. So 17, 18-ish. There was a gap in the Journal of Osteopathy that they have.
Yes.
Yeah, and I don't know why that gap happened. I don't know if it happened to the journal.
It's almost like they stopped writing it for a bit and then went back into it.
We could probably, actually, I might be able to see this. It's really a question of whether or not the numbering, because we didn't look at that, but I can look at that now. There's a lot of them. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there was a ton.
Oh no, they stopped it at 1914.
Yeah, which was the one with 20?
I don't know.
One went to 1920.
Yeah, but the Journal of Osteopathy. The
Osteopathic Physician, I think.
Maybe. The Journal of Osteopathy, what they have is up to volume 20, number 6, 1914 in June 1914. So there's the Journal of Osteopathy is continued, but that's just what they have there. Maybe they'll put more up later. But anyways, going through all of it, and there isn't Find It, Fix It, Leave It Alone often. Did you... Because another thing that I did, so this will all come out some way or another. I'll make sure that I find a way to release this stuff, whether it's just through video or on a website. But I can't remember which one it was. There was one of the quotes. I think it was McColl, George Malcolm McColl, and he noted that it was from a specific. Why don't I just pull this stupid stuff up? It was from a specific journal article, and it was talking about a book. I should remember this stuff better. There's so many quotes.
There was so much information, though.
Just so many quotes.
I did think I'd see it more often, just because, to me, that's such an important, even in practice, that's such an important thing in osteopathy.
Yeah, the term.
The term is important. I actually...
Now, when you say the term is important, what do you mean? Do you mean the sentence itself, or what you think it instructs you to do?
What it instructs you to do.
Okay,
is important.
I'm going to ask about that in a second. So, Bulletin of the Atlas and Axis Club, which of which there was a lot. Hildreth did a memorial address for Dr. Still. It was reprinted in December of 1921, and it was Hildreth noting Webster's book. The book, what's the name of the book? Concerning Osteopathy. Concerning Osteopathy was a compilation book that was printed initially in 1910. You can find versions of the reprint in 1915 and 1917. And the quote, Dr. Still is quoted as saying, "Find it, fix it, leave it alone." But you didn't find him writing that anywhere.
No.
Like, even in the Journal of Osteopathy, where he wrote articles. That was never there.
No.
It doesn't mean the general sentiment wasn't there, but still never wrote it down. So the best we have is Webster in a compilation book on basically a bare page says, find it, fix it, leave it alone, AT still.
Yeah.
Right? That's what we find. Okay. So to circle back, when you note that find it, fix it, leave it alone instructs you to do things in treatment, do you have ways to describe that better?
Yes.
Okay. Would you like to share them?
In a nutshell.
No, in a nutshell?
Yeah. In a nutshell, the role for me, the way I look at my job is find something that's not moving, make it move better, and let nature do the rest.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
The way that I usually say it is, if what the person is reporting and the mechanical restriction are related to one another appropriately, when you get it moving better, whatever they're complaining about should change in some degree related to the mechanical change.
Yes.
But that's only if they're related.
Yeah.
Because there's times when they're not. And you've
experienced that as well.
You've experienced that.
But again, that's still, for me, I still treat what's not moving.
Yeah.
And then I also treat the primary complaint.
With the region of the primary complaint.
Yes.
But how often do you find that the region of the primary complaint doesn't have an obvious restriction?
Never, almost never.
Yeah. So usually when people complain about a particular area, you find something that's not moving
in that area. Yeah.
Now, there's lots of discussions that can happen around, why that's the way it is, the sensory system.
Yeah.
We could go a lot of ways, which all have challenges, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of mechanistic claims that have challenges you don't even have to sniff at. You can basically turn your head and look at them and you're like, that sucks.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
As far as
most of the time, you see a visible motion restriction in the area that the person's
they're complaining about.
I have had one or two patients who are in pain all over,
Yep.
and you don't see a dramatic motion restriction.
Yep.
But there's still something.
You'll find something.
Yeah.
And in those cases, has changing those areas that you do find had the patient report something positive?
Yes.
Okay. I've had lots of people where you treat them, you get them moving better, they come in hurting all over, and they leave, and they're not. I think maybe it's possible that the degree of change that they sense internally is not big enough for them to be happy about it.
Yes. Yeah. No, I've had that as well.
Yeah. So
it's a mixed bag.
There's variance.
Yes.
Right. So that's probably better described with the term neuropathic or nociplastic pain. So they could have a neurological pathology, which would then at least predictably suggest that they could have body-wide negative sensation, or they could have no possible or actual damage to tissue, which would be nociceptive pain. They don't have a pathology of the nervous system or a nerve, so no neuropathic pain. Nociplastic pain is the absence of those, but the report of negative subjective sensations, which would be termed pain. So those are possibilities too.
Yeah.
We know more about that now, even though nociceptive pain as a category is only existed since 2017. So that's early for the investigation. Yeah. But whatever. At least we have some way to describe why it wouldn't work. There's some quotes in here. I don't know if you saw them. That you found them, but you were just finding.
I was finding.
You were finding.
Yeah.
That talks about if I have failed, it's only because I didn't grasp the principle well enough. It's not osteopathy's fault.
Yes.
You remember that one?
Yeah.
Ish. Yeah. It's like, I worked the way that I should work and I didn't get it. And I humbly referred them on to an MD for a different look.
Yeah.
But it's not because osteopathy failed. It's because I failed to understand the principle. Right. That was pretty early. That was, Yeah. That one was probably 1916, 17-ish. And obviously we can look it up. Right now we're not doing that. This is preliminary. We're just having a discussion. But that's an interesting way to look at it. That has a high degree of certainty that the system is perfect, but I'm flawed. Right now, that's not an unreasonable way to look at things if you want to improve. Yeah. But it's an unreasonable way to look at things if you're trying to figure out whether the thing you think is actually what you think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you can never prove that guy wrong.
Yeah.
Right? So I think the term I want to say is it's not a falsifiable position. So it's like, if it didn't work, it's because I suck. If it did work, like, so osteopathy is perfect. If it doesn't work, I suck. If it does work, it's because it's perfect and I just did what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Right. So there's no way to prove that osteopathy as a system in that mindset could have limits.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So far, as a practitioner, does it have limits?
Yes.
It has very obvious limits.
I do think, I think like that sometimes too. I'm like, what could I have done better?
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. So what could I have done better?
Or like, next visit, I want to try this and this with this person.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get where I wanted, to this particular appointment.
Yep.
And I want to hit certain things up differently.
Yep.
Next appointment. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just to see if they respond differently.
So clinically speaking, and as a human, that's the appropriate approach to take, because it gives you the opportunity to identify errors and try to learn from them.
Yes.
Try to find ways to do it different. That's fantastic. But that's about you, right? And your self-growth, as opposed to, there's this thing up here, it's perfect, it's better than everything else. And it could lead, or what I would call it is blind faith, right? Completely blind. So I don't know if you've heard me talk about this. To do quote unquote science, to do the scientific method, you have to fundamentally believe that something you cannot currently observe does exist, or at least, rather, that's wrong, could exist. And if you test it properly, you find out if it does or it doesn't.
Yeah.
Right? So it's the faith that something could exist that you can't currently observe, and if you test it the right way, you can find out. Yeah. Whereas the blind faith is it's perfect no matter what. Yeah. Right? So I think that's probably what I'm trying to point at there. What do you... Now, obviously, as it stands right now, I did all the screen captures of the quotes, put them in, and I put some commentary on it. So you didn't necessarily write that commentary, but you read through all these things. You found way more than I did. You did more of the heavy lifting initially. Is there a general theme that you think you saw? Yes. How the quote or how the concept progressed? Yeah, it seemed like as you got closer into like 1914, 1915, 1920-ish, there was almost a level of frustration. It was almost like the find it, fix it, leave it alone was being kind of pushed back on the back burner. Okay. And the OGs were noticing this and getting frustrated. And it was like in bold cap letters in a lot of the articles. And it was very it was repeated several times in certain articles. And then there was a stretch where there was nothing. So it wasn't an issue at certain times. So or maybe earlier. It wasn't. Yeah, earlier. Yeah. So and then when things started changing or osteopathy started changing, maybe the way they taught it at schools or something. The original docs, I guess they noticed that, and then in their journals they noted it more. Yeah. So almost like trying to get back to basics. Like, remember, this is what we're supposed to be doing, not other stuff. Yeah. So the quote that some people like from research and practice is the house of osteopathy is only big enough for osteopathy. Anything else that moves in, just that much osteopathy must move out. Moves out, yeah. And that was 1910. What I will say is that a lot of the quotes weren't necessarily older DOs. Some of them were younger and trying to advocate for what they were hoping for. Yes. Do you remember the one where the gentleman, I can't remember what state he was in, but he was at the state Osteopathic Association meeting, and he was asking about, like, how do you fix it? How do you fix it? He's like, I know, find it, fix it, leave it alone, but how do you actually fix it? And then his sentiment was he had asked people, and they're like, I don't know, we don't really know. And then the most experienced one said, most of my success... what he was asking is, like, have you ever actually kind of set a bone? Like,
yes,
got it to go back.
He was talking about bone setting.
Or just kind of gotten a thing to go back. And they were like, And then the oldest, most experienced one, I don't know how experienced they were, said most of his success, he's like, maybe I got it once or twice, but it was mostly by accident. Most of my success is salesmanship. Yes. Right. So it's like interesting, because also in these articles, did you notice, I feel like you did because you read them, or at least the area around them, that very, very early on, they started talking about, so in 1910 to 1920, they started talking about the practitioners who were doing general treatments, who were using. Now, I feel like when they say this, because the term is going to make a lot of people giggle, it kind of makes me giggle. I think they're talking about like the percussion hammers, right? It's like, they spend 40 minutes with the vibrator and the lavender light.
Yes, yeah.
Did you see the lavender light?
I saw that, yeah.
So the practitioners that, the most experienced one in whatever state that was, he's like, I use the vibrator. Mm-hmm. And I tell them about whatever hobby I'm interested in at the time, right? So he's just talking to them. Then there's the ones that do the general treatment. So the find it, fix it, leave it alone. The general theme seems to be it's a cultural slogan. Mm-hmm. It means pure osteopathy. Mm-hmm. It means the osteopathy where you're just using your hands and no adjuncts. Mm-hmm. But then there's also some quotes that say, find it, fix it, leave it alone means using any non-harmful adjustment. Yeah. It could be diet. It could be surgery. Yeah. Obviously, hands-on. I think there was something else. Hygiene. Mm-hmm. It said hygiene, right? The adjustment to hygiene is osteopathic, right? So there's the attempt by multiple authors to make it mean what they want it to mean, but it's also a cultural slogan at a time where the profession was changing. The term early on for somebody who did general treatment was engine wiper. Mm-hmm. Right? So, that doesn't sound like a very nice thing to say about people. No. But also, when you note the educational circumstances, it's reasonable to suggest that very early on in the profession, as more schools showed up, that nobody had been doing osteopathy for a long time. Mm-hmm. And that if we start at Dr. Still is known to have not liked to teach technique. It's not that he didn't like it. He wanted to just talk about the anatomy and say, you can figure it out. Also, that people didn't have to treat the same, right? So technically variable. Now, in your educational experience, have you seen, I know you have, so this is a leading question, where you give people the same job and the same movement, right? And you give them parameters, active, passive, whatever it happens to be, and they do it differently. Yes. Right. It's relatively similar, but there is difference. But partially, the size of the practitioner and the size of the person on the table, there's mismatches. Yeah. Right. So there is variance. There's no question about that. Yeah. So that's a legit phenomenon Still was concerned about, but he just didn't teach technique much. So if the first person to do it doesn't teach much about the actual physical skill, then the people who come after are most likely not going to be highly experienced in teaching the physical skill. Yes. Then the people who learn under them, that starts to disperse.
It's like an umbrella effect.
Yeah. Yeah. It starts to disperse, and then you start these new schools, and nobody has the experience teaching the physical skill. Yeah. Because there's one of them that talks about osteopathy being that more physical skill, and that it does take time and experience to learn. And I think he notes, I don't know if you remember this one, like learning a new method to adjust. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you got to do it for months before you get good at it. Yeah. Right?
Like repeating the technique several times.
Yeah. Especially if it's a technique. But I look at it more as a physical skill because of that variance. Not everybody's the same size. Yes. So. But if you have Still starting as not doing a fantastic job teaching the physical skills, then everybody he taught not being fantastic or experienced at teaching the physical skills, then you start to get possibly a dilution of the physical skills. Mm-hmm. Because the frustration that they talk about is not knowing how to fix it, right? So you're saying, do you more or less see that? Did you get that out of it?
I see that. I see it every day, too. Oh, just in my real life.
In your real life?
Well, in 2025, osteopathy.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to be careful about the trash talk. We don't have to be too careful. It's your business. But so because you said that, the stuff you see when just searching for the term find it, fix it, leave it alone, or things that are close to it, do you see the same phenomena then that you see now?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So the one who talks about salesmanship, I'm primarily successful because I can sell. Yes. You've experienced this.
I've experienced this.
Yes.
Yes. I've experienced a lot. I've experienced this, the storytellers, I've experienced the salesmanship, I've experienced just the very quiet, do my work, don't talk to the patient, and very different.
So the phenomena have not changed.
No.
So the cultural roots of these things, they've just kind of reiterated. They've started again, and they keep going down the line. And if you're a lineage tracer, you're like, well, this person taught this person, and I learned from them.
Yes.
So you can kind of see, you've heard me say the term cultural transmission, right? Most professions are taught through cultural transmission. But it's not a knock, it's not a negative. But if the culture contains specific forms of error, and you continue to transmit it that way, then that's what you get.
Yes.
Right? So there's specific subsystems within the profession where it's like, I was taught by this DO. And then, the eyes glimmer.
Yeah. But I do think that with other modalities, it's a little bit more rigid in the teaching. Like they teach specific tests that you do on specific joints. Yeah. And, so it's very like,
sure.
I feel like most, say if I use physio as an example.
And you've run clinics.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Most physios I've been treated by, the tests are the same.
Sure.
That they do for the same, whatever my symptoms are. Say my knee hurts.
Yeah.
Those tests are the same whether I go to A, B, C physio. Whereas in osteo, if you go to 3 different osteos, the treatment is very different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say that's a highlight of the profession. With the experience, regardless of profession, when you make a complaint and people do the same set of tests, what are the results like?
Well, I don't do that.
No. I'm saying when they did it to you.
Oh, when they did it to me, not good.
Not good.
Yeah.
So here's the thing.
So I don't do that, Sam.
Sam,
just so you know.
No. So if people are taught rigidly.
Yes.
And they just do the same thing.
Yeah.
By decree, right? And the results aren't that good.
No.
It suggests that there's an error built in.
Yes.
The error is the search. They search poorly.
Yeah.
Well, not poorly. They search the same. When the right person shows up for that search, it will work.
Yeah.
When the person shows up who that search isn't good for, it won't work that well.
Yes.
And that's where we can grab, find it, fix it, leave it alone. And it's like, okay, well, I searched the normal way and I didn't find anything. This person's complaining.
Yeah.
I have to change that search.
Yes.
Right? So the method that we go through here at the school is I'm going to make you, in every position, try to patient active search this area in this movement, then patient passive search this area in this movement in all positions. You realize which ones work well, you realize which ones don't work well. Then what you do is you build your normal assessment process from the ones that seem to work the best with trade-offs. So you're admitting this may not be the best test, but this is the best test I can do in this series.
Yes.
Usually you find something. When you don't find something, what do you do?
Yield to pressure, use different methods.
Yeah. Well, so, okay, if you don't find something with your normal set of tests and you still haven't found something, what do you do?
Another test.
A test that you already threw out.
Yes.
Right? So you purposely throw out a lot of tests.
Yeah.
And then when the test you normally use didn't find something, you grab one of the other tests.
Yes.
So you're admitting that there's errors in your normal assessment process such that most of the time you'll find stuff, and when you don't, I know what to do.
Yeah.
Right? As opposed to, I just walk in and I teach you, this is the test you do.
Yes, and this is the only test.
Yeah. So.
And if it fails.
Yeah. So the error.
You can't phone a friend.
Exactly.
That was a famous line.
Yeah. So because of the possibility of the error of search, it's hard for me to say it this way, right? Because I don't want to do it. It's like, I want to say we, but it's like, okay, I designed it this way from scratch, and then it's seeming to propagate. So have you noticed that as the newer rounds of intakes come in, they get better at the diagnostic faster?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're all feeding off the other levels.
That's why, right?
Yeah.
So it seems to actually be that for the most part, even when they doubt themselves verbally, they search pretty well. And they find pretty well.
Yeah.
Right? But they're like, no, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, yeah, you do. Yeah, so anyways. But the error built into this is how you search is if it's not the right person for that search or the right circumstance for that search, it won't work the way they want it to.
Yes.
So the results will be within that limit.
Yeah.
Whereas if you can have some dynamism and flexibility in your search, then, especially because it's built that way, then you're a little bit more likely, not for sure, to find the thing that might be helpful. And then after that, the results will be what the results are. Results be what the results will be. What the I mean, I felt like I didn't understand me, but I was trying.
I understood.
So if you make it more about the search, the find it, right?
Find it, fix it, leave it.
Then there is one of the quotes. It's basically, if you find what's going on, the body will tell you what it needs. I think that's from the Tucker reminiscence, though. So that's kind of out of that. But you're more likely to get there or figure out that the manual methods are not the thing, right? So, yeah, other professions probably are more rigid, but that's their culture.
Yes.
The culture of osteopathy seems to be a little bit more wild and crazy.
Yeah, I think it's just I would say more gray.
More gray, for sure. I'm happy with that term.
Yeah.
But then because it gets handed down on the manual side through culture, as opposed to maybe a more pulled back, abstract examination of what's consistent, we seem to get the same thing over and over again that we see between 1910 and 1920 in literature.
Yes.
Right? So it's like, oh no, this is literally the same. Right? There's people who definitely use a reasonable amount of modalities. Some countries you go to, they're more likely to use things like lotion for soft tissue work. They're more likely to crack stuff because it's legal. It's not legal here. They're more likely to use aids, right? So, like strap somebody to the table and really reef on them. They're more likely to do that because of who they learned from.
Yes.
Right? Whereas if you go to the concept of building from scratch, to teach people to build from scratch, it looks different than how most hands-on professions have been taught over time. But if you teach people to build from scratch, the solutions are not terribly challenging. You just have to say it the right way. They try it, and then they get the feedback.
Yes.
Right? And then they figure it out. So what ends up happening here is the level ones are the most creative.
Yeah.
Because they're not bound by what they've done before much.
Yeah.
The level 2s and the level 3s learn what isn't as useful, so they stick to a narrower range of things. But then they see the level 1 do the creative thing, and they're like, you know what? I'll try that.
Yeah.
Right? There's actually something that a couple people have done a reasonable job of. In lateral, when working from behind the patient on the hip, there's more students putting their
leg up on the table.
But not just their leg up on the table, using it to support the patient's thigh.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I do that all the time.
Yeah.
Even for like
I didn't see it. I see it now.
Okay.
You do it all the time, but not around me.
No, I do it. I have done it with patients that I don't have their legs heavy for me.
Yep.
So I find when I'm lifting things, I'm not huge.
Yep.
So I feel me.
I
don't feel the patient.
Yes.
Whereas if their legs resting on my leg in lateral, and I even use like my hip flexor, and that's where their foot is, and I could still have them do like PIR, basically, like push into me or push out, and I hold their leg. I feel them. So I'm feeling my lever to fix point. I'm feeling what I'm supposed to feel, not me struggling. Not my arm trembling to hold a limb.
Well, so here's the challenge. I'm also not a giant person.
Yes.
But I lift weights on purpose, so I can pick up a lot of things, and it's not the same level of challenge for me. So I know exactly what you mean, like feeling you. So there's ways that I move.
Yeah.
But I've never done that because I never got myself into the position where it was something that I needed to think about.
Exactly.
But this is the variance, right? So you do it. I didn't see you do it.
Yeah.
I see more people doing it. And I actually see some people who have some decent size on them and they're strong.
Yeah.
I'm like, son of a gun.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm stupid. But, it's just the opportunity to see that. If you give people the freedom to build from scratch, they build from scratch. You've got to give the framework and the feedback and some insight. And then also tell people why, although it might be a good method, it might be a bad method for them.
Yeah, and you learn that quick when you're on your own and working because you'll be in pain yourself.
Yeah, and that's in those quotes where it's like, you learn from experience.
Yes.
The more appropriate term as far as literature is concerned today is you learn from errors you know you made.
Yeah.
You have to know you made the error, then you'll try to back engineer it.
Yeah.
But so overall, so far, obviously this is still the preliminary. We haven't kind of really zoomed in and
dove into it. Yeah.
Well, we have, but we haven't gotten into formalizing the themes. Experientially, obviously, you've noted that to start, it was just kind of frustrating. going through all the material, because there's a lot.
Yeah, I thought there would be way more articles noting the find it, fix it, leave it alone. Because to me, that's something that as an osteo, I feel like I often think that, because it's easy to I don't want to say panic, but it's easy to like be like, I don't know what to do right now.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm just going to go through this robotic thing.
Yeah.
And because I don't really know what to do with this person, because everyone's individual and everyone presents differently any day. Yeah. So like I could see you today and you usually do present the same.
Yeah, it's because I do the same stupid
similar, because you do the same things all the time. But not everyone's like that. Like I've had people, side bent right one day, side bent left the next time. Yes. Like 3 days later, right? So so that's, for me, I always try to actually go back to that mentally. I'm like, why am I here? What am I doing? Yep. What am I trying to fix? Yeah. What do I need to move better? Yep. How do I get a result for this person? Yep. Right? Yep. Versus like, going through just a routine.
Yes. Regardless of who shows up.
Regardless. And the thing is, what are you finding and fixing when you're going through that routine?
For sure.
Are you doing anything when you're going through the routine? For sure. So I try to really stay out of that.
Yeah.
Like try to stay on my track where I'm going, because I feel like I do actually get like pretty good results with treatment.
I agree.
And versus going down some other rabbit hole of
this is the
what my other osteo did. What did they do to me? Right?
This is the idea.
Yes.
And I will do this idea regardless of what I find.
Yes.
As opposed to, you said words.
Yeah.
I have to look no matter what words you said.
Yes.
And I have to find.
Yes.
And once I find, I can then zero in on what to do. I think it'll work this way, and if it works this way, perfect. If it doesn't work this way, I'm going to change it.
Yeah, and I think it's important, that quote is important because the assessment is so important. Mm-hmm. Finding it, whatever it is the most important part. Yep. If you don't find it, that's when, like you were saying before, like you throw in your other test to try to find something.
Yep.
But, yeah.
So you've had multiple educational experiences. Would you say that with the educational experiences that you've had so far, and whatever one, and even the fact that you've worked with so many manual therapy professionals in running clinics, would you say that people usually say phrases like that versus do phrases like that?
Yes, most people say. They speak.
And then, but they don't know, because they're convinced that everything they're doing is that phrase.
Yeah.
Now, that same criticism can be levied here. So it's like, well, you say that other people say and don't do. And then I see you don't. That's possible. Yeah, it's a fair criticism. For sure. I would suggest that we generally, you and I as individuals, and then the people that are associated with the school so far, could probably show, generally, if I say I'm doing it, that's what I'm doing.
Yes.
Now, it's not going to be perfect forever, and not everybody's going to agree, because they have different ideas, and that's totally fine. But for the most part, if you say you're doing something, that's what you're doing. If you say you're working on a certain area, that's where you're working.
Yes, that's where I'm working.
Right? So, educationally, so far, as you can tell, is that because of the way that this has been built?
Yeah, I think so. So, I mean, I don't want it to come across like Sam's brainwashing us to saying...
Well, and this is the problem. Like, to try to... As the individual that generated a bunch of stuff that comes from a bunch of other places, I didn't create anything, but to put together an educational program, because I know how to put together an educational program, because I chose to get more education in that, and I'm like, okay, well, these are the highlights, these are the things that we really need to work on. If I want you to have autonomy and the ability to solve the problem, I need to teach from the problem solving primarily, as opposed to the moves.
Yes.
Right. So over time, you heard me start to come into the statement of the search is more important than the move.
Yeah, that's why I was saying before. Like, you have to find it part is the most important part.
Yeah.
Because
once you're like, okay,
once you find it, you figure out how to fix it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah, educationally, I think you pull from different, like in university, I learned lots.
Yeah.
So I pull from there.
And you worked clinically,
but I also
as a kin.
probably learned the most as clinically as a kin that I could pull from. And then other schools pull holds and things like that from them. And also what I didn't like from them.
Absolutely.
And then same with here. Like sometimes you would show things and demonstration. And I was like, I don't think that would work for me. So I have to modify that. Right? And you're thankfully open to any kind of modification or any kind of thing that we come up with here. And you tend to actually Yes. Yeah, which usually it isn't. Just like I said before, like holding the leg a different way so you don't feel you, things like that. Yeah, absolutely. And then we all kind of learn from each other because we're not all 6'8" and no problem with giant hands, right? Yeah. So we all
a problem because you have giant hands and the person that you're working on 100% doesn't fit your giant hands.
Yeah, exactly. There's the opposite as well. So so I think here there's the openness to, but the main goal is to the assessment, like to find the problem. And it always comes back to that.
Yep. So again, just to try to bring it back to what we started talking about, you see the themes from there in today's osteopathy.
Yes.
And then conceptually at least, it seems like, obviously you went through the whole program, so people shouldn't trust your word about what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Not because you're untrustworthy, but because you found value in the approach that's been taken here. But as far as you can tell, the approach that's been taken here is actually, okay, let's put the search at the top of the hierarchy, admit that not all searches are equal, and sometimes your search doesn't show it, so you've got to do it a different way.
Yeah, and I think that's the difference between this institution and others.
Yeah.
Where it's like, this is the only way.
Yeah.
This is the way you do it. Yeah. Everybody should do it at the same time. Everyone should do this in 15 minutes or less.
Yeah.
And everyone should do the same hold, and the same person will work for everybody, which is not the case.
Yeah.
In reality, it doesn't work like that.
And again, I'm going to be as clear as possible that you saying that isn't, so what I'm about to say isn't because you as an individual are untrustworthy, but because you found value in the program is why people should, take it with a grain of salt.
Oh, for sure.
So I appreciate it because it makes me feel really good about me.
Yes.
It makes me feel really smart.
Yeah.
And accomplished.
Yeah.
But the willingness to question it has value. But I think...
I was going to say, there are things that you didn't show or demonstrate that I pull from another institution that I also went to.
Absolutely.
That you probably don't like.
That's fine.
Because you'll say like, you're going to break your back or
you're
going to hurt your hamstrings. But like I do those things.
Absolutely.
So there's value in really any education. There's growth that can be had. Yeah. So like if you're a person that's open to learning in general, I think you embrace it and you learn as you go.
When I say stuff like that, it's my concern for people across a longer span of time.
100%.
It's not because any given move is bad. It's because if you like it a lot and you do it a lot, you'll break in very predictable ways.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm concerned about practitioners breaking.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
Which is one of the reasons they use the vibrator.
Yes. Yeah. And then like currently, like we have to do CEUs.
Yep.
And CEUs are not, I don't want to say limited, but like you can, like I did cupping and I did lymphatic drainage. So, and a lot of the osteo, like old history, like you said, like as you know, like with osteo, as much as I use these other modalities, say to use it as a current example. If I use cupping, that little bit of osteopathy moves out of my house of osteopathy. If I use MLD, that little bit of osteopathy moves out. But to be honest, it's not that I don't want to use the modalities that I've learned. I only use them when people ask.
Sure. Yeah.
So like I do my whole osteopathic treatment. And if somebody wants me to do lymphatic drainage, I throw that into the osteopathic treatment. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like, it's not something that I guess you could utilize these other modalities and other, and even in MLD, I learned a lot, actually, different holds, different things like that too, which was great because now I use them in osteo.
Yeah, you just...
I've modified it enough.
Yeah. Well, your target is different. Your target isn't the MLD side. Your target is whatever movement restriction you found.
Exactly.
You just start from that hold and apply the concept.
Yes. Yeah. There were a couple like arm holds that I really like that I use all the time.
Right on.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So I just added things in that I learned from those other modalities, which is nice too. Yeah. Absolutely. And you learn a lot from other people. But I can see how people would be like, oh, she's not doing pure osteopathy.
Well, the best way to put it is the holds or the ways that you can interact with another human's body in order to move them have limits.
Yes.
Other people have figured them out.
Yeah.
If you learn them from there, that's fine.
Yeah.
The difference isn't necessarily the hold or the move. It's what you're targeting.
Yes, exactly.
Right? Because you're looking for certain ranges of responses. So generally speaking, you're either looking to go in the direction of restriction without it fighting, right? or, which means you often have to come really far off plane and do weird movements, or you're trying to make the whole area soft so that there's something that happens. So it's either direct or indirect. It's like, well, it's a hold. A hold's a hold.
Yeah.
What do I do with the hold?
Yeah.
So just because you learn it from profession A doesn't mean you can't use it with the target of profession B.
Yeah, no.
Because they're just moves.
Totally.
Yeah.
And the other thing I always kind of look at, if I'm trying to make things more balanced, so if your shoulders are crooked and my goal is to balance you out, I'll say balance. I don't want to say like anything else.
Whatever.
There was a word I did not want to say. That's why I kind
of
said
start with an
A. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, if I want to make somebody more balanced and also do MLD at the end of a treatment, in my opinion, everything should be flowing better after the osteopathy. So now I'm just helping it move even better, hopefully.
The assumption you're making is that when things are more neutral in how they appear superficially, that pressure gradients have changed such that the MLD would be able to do its work in a more favorable pressure environment.
100%.
Now, you have to start off with that's an assumption.
That's an assumption.
It's not an unreasonable assumption.
Yeah.
And if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, well, whatever.
Yes.
Right? At least you tried.
Yeah, for sure. If I'm doing MLD, like a lymphatic drainage on somebody that's like this and I'm doing their neck, there's a compression somewhere. So if I don't help that open up a little bit or move a little better, what am I pumping? Where am I pumping the lymph?
Yeah, again.
Into a congested area.
We can, as long as we acknowledge that that's the assumption and that it's a reasonable assumption, then we can have a discussion, right? But there will probably be times when you have, idiopathic scoliosis or congenital scoliosis that's progressive, and MLD can probably work for them. Yeah. It's just like, we're not getting rid of that thing.
Yeah, that's going to be there. Yeah.
Right. We're not getting, but it will still work. So again, just looking at it and saying, you know what, it's a perfect system. This is how it works. You have to do this before you do this. It's like, I can find an edge case without too much trouble. Yeah. But it is a reasonable assumption that if you make things more balanced or more similar side to side, especially as far as movement is concerned, that's showing the signals that the pressure gradients are probably more similar after than before. Yeah. And that should be helpful in neutral circumstances. Whereas if we can find the case where you don't have to do that and the MLD helps the way the MLD is supposed to help, we now know that it's not a requirement. Yeah. In all cases. Yeah. Right? So it's the acknowledgement, acceptance of the variability. Yeah. Yeah. But that's why the search matters.
It always comes back to the
I could try it with person A, whereby I don't do that. I don't balance them, and it doesn't work. And then I do balance them, and then it does work. Well, for that person, that's what you need. Yeah. Right? Or I find the person where I do balance them out, and everything gets worse. Yeah. Right? So you have to acknowledge that, where it's like, okay, well, you have to be willing to figure out what's going to work most appropriately for this person and not be afraid to try different things. Yes. Yeah. But again, it comes back to the search. Yeah. So the find it.
The find it. It always comes back to the
and
find it.
And then the leave it alone, Mother Nature will kindly take care of the rest, is when the way that I translate that to try to communicate it in a different way that I think is less abstract is if the mechanical restriction that you found is properly related to the thing that they're presenting with complaints about, the sensation that they have. If they're related properly, you change the mechanical thing, the sensation should change in some level. And if it doesn't, well, it's not going to work that way.
Yes. And sometimes that sensation doesn't go away instantaneously. It takes a couple days. Sometimes it takes maybe a week.
There's a brain involved.
Yes.
Brains are funny. Yeah. Yeah. I don't deal with, well, I mean, I have to deal with brains, but I don't deal with them on purpose. Yes. Also outside of scope. So, anyways, anything else you wanted to add to that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, sweet.
Good chat.
Yay, chat. Anyways.
Good chat.
Thank you for listening this long. Hopefully you learned something. We'll talk again soon. Oh, my camera's getting hot. I'm a bitch.